We're here today with Louise Walker to discuss social media. Louise, how does social media impact on employers?
Social media can give employers a lot of opportunities, such as the ability to build their brand online and network with clients and potential clients. But it can bring up a lot of challenges as well, and if employees aren't using social media properly, then that can cause some issues for the employer.
What would you say is the biggest risk to employers of employees using social media?
One of the biggest risks is that employees could post their personal opinions online, and if you're posting that to a wider audience, there might be some people who find those personal opinions to be controversial. It's important that employers don't allow their brand to become damaged online, so they need to ensure that they give guidance to employees on appropriate use of social media.
So how can employers limit the risk of social media use by their employees?
To limit the risks, employers should put in place a robust social media policy outlining what their rules are in relation to the use of social media. It would be sensible to have that in a staff handbook and to make sure that employees are trained on the policy when it's first implemented.
And what types of rules might be included in a social media policy?
Employers might want to impose an outright ban on employees using social media and identifying themselves as an employee of the company, but that's not necessarily the best way to go, and employees who are using social media in an appropriate way, that can sometimes have good implications for the business as well. So employers would want to consider putting limits in place about what types of statements employees can make online. For example, making it clear that discriminatory comments or offensive comments aren't acceptable. They should also encourage employees to make clear that any personal opinions are their own and not that of the organisation's.
Okay.
Employers might also wish to give guidance on how much employees can use social media when they're at work and whether they can actually use social media using the employer's systems. For example, if it's only appropriate to use it out with normal working hours during a lunch break, then an employer would be well advised to make that clear.
And presumably a social media policy would outline what the consequences would be of failing to follow the policy.
Absolutely. The social media policy should make clear what the rules are, and it's primarily a deterrent so that employees don't breach those rules in the first place. If they do breach the rules, then it should be made clear that disciplinary action will be taken. In some circumstances, a serious breach of a social media policy could amount to gross misconduct.
Okay, thanks. So could you summarise some of the key points for us?
The key point here is to have a robust social media policy in place to make sure your employees understand it and that they're going to comply with the terms of it. The employer should take a consistent approach to dealing with any breaches of the policy, taking disciplinary action where appropriate. Employers should take on board that social media can have great benefits for them as well, and they should encourage employees to use it, ensuring they do so in an appropriate way.
Thank you, Louise.
Thanks.